Good afternoon to everyone. It's approximately 4:15, September 8, 2014. For the past 2 days, local, state, and federal law enforcement have been working diligently around the clock to locate our blessed child, Hiawayi Robinson, in hopes to have her return safely to her loving family and back to us. The thing that we feared most has come upon us. Today at approximately 12 p.m., that search ended when, regrettably, the deceased remains of Hiawayi were recovered by investigators near Turner Road and Rebel Road. We're all grieving with Hiawayi's family at this time, and we cannot begin to even imagine the terrible loss that her family is enduring at this time, as well as the community that is grieving. We're going to continue our vigilant pursuit of the person or persons that are responsible for this senseless, cowardly act of unspeakable violence on an innocent child. We will not stop until we find the person or persons that are responsible. We will leverage all tools and resources at the local, state, and federal level, and we will exploit all technology available to find who is responsible for this and to ultimately bring swift justice to the perpetrators that have brought this great crime to our city. In addition, we ask that the concerned and the heart-grieved community to continue to stand strong during this time of adversity. We strongly encourage anyone who has any information that would be credible to resolving this matter, if you would please come forward. If you saw Hiawayi Robinson within the past 2 days or have seen anyone during that time frame, we strongly urge you to share that information with us expediently. No information is too small or too insignificant. We are committed to overturning every stone in diligent pursuit for the justice of little Hiawayi. We have already generated some very good tips and information, but the investigation is still in its early stages and will continue on until justice is served. Due to the nature of it being an active and fluid investigation, we will not provide any further information at this time or take questions in regards to the investigation itself. There have been rumors, inaccurate information that has only served to detract our overall purpose for bringing complete and swift justice on behalf of Hiawayi Robinson and her family and this city. In regards to the Amber Alert, which was widely speculated upon the timeline in which it should have or could have been enacted, the Department of Justice regulations under the Amber Alert program state that sufficient descriptive information relative to the abductor and or vehicles used in the abduction be present. In the case of Hiawayi, we did not have that information. We did perform the best management practice that was called upon. We issued a missing persons bulletin and in such allow all members of law enforcement to establish necessary levels of protocol in the context as if an Amber Alert would in fact have been called. That said, we are very confident that every means of resource, every means of law enforcement, and every means of community support that was required under the Missing Persons Alert was in fact enacted to the greatest extent to the benefit of trying to identify and bring this blessed child home. We will update the public as necessary, but our first priority is working with family to meet their needs as well as help heal the community's pain over this great tragedy. If any additional further information is needed as far as the city of Prichard, I would ask that you would contact Ms. Melanie Baldwin, the city's Director of Public Relations and Public Information. We will take questions at this time from the media.
Mayor, I would imagine you yourself and a lot of members of law enforcement are parents themselves. How has this case, dealing with an 8-year-old child found dead, affected you and the members of the investigation? Investigating this case.
Your question was in reference to how has this affected myself and other members of the community in regards to the circumstance. I think I had an opportunity to speak to it this morning by phone conference while still in D.C. trying to get back here. This represents the absolute worst of any form of crime, and I speak as a mayor and not necessarily from the aspect of a law enforcement person or even someone from fire and rescue. No one ever wants to lose a child, and losing a child in this manner is detrimentally harmful, and it hurts. The entire community feels this, not just myself as a father, not as a mayor, but as a human being with respect for life, and a person who understands the value of life, and a person who realizes that every life is important, especially the life of an innocent child, a very young life that did not get quite the opportunity to fulfill itself, and that opportunity was taken from her. So this is a very difficult, a very harmful, hurtful situation and a time for us all, as parents, as citizens, and even law enforcement. These are not the cases that anyone seeks to resolve or to follow up on. Unfortunately, they happen. But as a result, we have to do what's in the best interest of bringing swift justice and bringing peace to this family and peace back to this city.
Has this case been classified as a homicide?
It's my understanding that it has.
Is there any indication how long her body may have been in that location?
It has not been clearly identified to that extent.
And have you guys had a chance to speak to that? There was so much talk about that person of interest this morning. Has there been any
I want to speak to
contact
that.
with this individual?
I want to speak to that. We just mentioned in the press release that we want individuals to come forward with credible information that would in fact be able to help us get closer to resolving this and bring this person to justice. That said, we had an individual that came forward with some information, and we're very supportive and appreciative of that. But I would like to express that this person is not a suspect. She is not someone that was under a matter of inquiry about her whereabouts. She offered valuable information that we can certainly use to go towards adding with additional information that we may have in hopes of being able to determine how to look further, to go further and look for this person. I don't want anyone in the community to use this person's support and her duty and obligation as a citizen, her right as a citizen, to provide that type of information that was certainly needed at the time, and we're grateful for it, as a crutch against her, or as a means to ostracize her, or make idle threats to her, or threats in that matter at all. She has done her duty and her obligation, and we're expecting other citizens, if they have credible information, to do just the same.
Just to clarify, this person that you're talking about, is that the woman in the surveillance photo that was released earlier?
Yes.
Mayor,
This will be the final question.
Mayor, earlier in the investigation, I think it was in a press release that investigators believe that she may have been taken across state lines. Did you find any truth to that?
Let the law enforcement speak to that.
Let me allow the law enforcement to speak to that respect, either chief or any of them.
There's no comment.
No.
Should citizens be concerned, be afraid here? A lot of people are worried about their children in this situation. Should they be scared? Anything message you want to send to the community?
I think that's a good question. I think it should always be the way that I believe it should be, that parents and elders and everyone that's responsible for kids would continue to emphasize the need to have their children, come home directly from school. Don't talk to strangers. I mean, it's no secret that it's always out there, and it happens. But we want to emphasize to parents to, take the opportunity now in the aftermath of this to, love your child and express that appreciation for your child, and not to look bad on the unfortunate situation of the Robinson family. But we as parents and as adults, we have to continue to do the best job that we can to inform our children, to educate our kids, and to make them aware of the evils of this community and the social ills in this world that they're sometimes going to be subject to. So we just want to continue to express to parents, talk to your kids, inform your kids, have them be on the lookout, have them take precautionary measures, and certainly do not talk to strangers, and always be wary of their surroundings at all times, especially in the morning prior to school, and at times certainly when school is concluded.
Thank you so very much, Mayor. We're Ashley, thank you for.
Can we expect another update soon?
Thank you all.
Thank you. You will get information that we are.
That was Prichard Mayor Troy Ephraim addressing reporters about the now confirmed death of Hiawayi Robinson, whose body was found shortly after noon met today. He did say this is being investigated as a homicide, and he also emphasized that the person of interest whose picture was shown throughout the day at the request of law enforcement is not a suspect and did a great service to the community by coming forth with the information that she gave to law enforcement.